Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Fashion and footwear designer, Devlin Carter. Welcome, sir.
What's up, Mr. Carter?
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
I got put on your Instagram. My man Dan put me on your Instagram maybe a month or two ago.
Okay.
And I've been really watching you. I'm like, okay, this dude is really doing his thing. And the fact that you design sneakers.
Yeah.
Like, have you always been interested in fashion and fashion design?
I definitely wasn't interested in fashion design when I was younger. My mom was a fashion designer, a seamstress. And growing up, you know, in Brooklyn and then moving to Queens, I just felt like as a kid, I never was like fashion is, you know, sewing is for men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So as I got older, which is crazy, living in California, one day I was in the military, and I just came home one day off a standing a military watch, and I went to Walmart, bought a sewing machine, and sold my daughter at the time a dress the same day.
What made you do that? Like, what was like? I feel like sewing today.
It's weird. Like one day I'm on watch, and I'm like, I'm gonna make my daughter a dress today. And the crazy part about that is my mom would teach sewing classes every Sunday in our house.
And you never did it.
I never did it. And I could have been way better than I am right now if I would have been one of her students.
So you didn't want to buy a dress? You just wanted to make your own dress, your own patterns, and everything, had your own ideas?
Yeah, I went to Walmart, then I went to Joann's Fabric, and I brought a pattern, and I brought the material. I made the dress. I made the top kind of backwards, but my daughter wore that dress every day. She was like, I'm going to wear this.
There's nothing like that, because growing up, my mom used to make all my clothes growing up, and we would go to the store, pick out the patterns, and then we would pick what fabrics I wanted, and that used to be such an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Now, did you learn something? Were you watching your mom even though you...
Never.
Really?
You was watching the Cosby Show, and you was like, that was your border control. That's what that was.
No, the crazy thing is I'm the youngest out of all my mom's 6 kids, and whenever she wanted fabric to buy, she always sent me out of all my... And I'm the baby. Like, I'm the baby by 8 years. So she would always send me to buy the fabrics, and even as a young kid, she would only send me because I would try to get the cheapest price. So if it was like $10 a yard, I would be like, let me get it for $8. And this was at 6 years old.
Wow.
I knew I was bargaining at that age, but I never like had the urge of actually sewing until like as a 30-year-old man.
Now, why didn't you think it was something men could do? Did you have like a father or uncle in your life that was like, man, you be old punk?
Right. No. Well, I didn't meet my father until I was 27.
Oh, okay.
So I never had a father. And then my oldest brother, he was in and out of jail. He was a drug dealer, drug user. So I never all I had was women around me. Mm-hmm. I don't know what made me in my head instinctively say that was for women. But I wish early in life that I didn't do that, because now I teach young men how to sew, and I teach young women how to sew for free.
Or,
you said you talked about Dapper Dan's interview when he was up here also on your social media.
For sure.
And you said that he is an inspiration to you.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. So in 97, I had graduated from high school, and I went to Queensborough Community College. And at Queensborough Community College, I met Drew Cartier. He used to work for DJ Clue. He's from that neighborhood. And he had painted his Jordans. And it was the red and white 13s. And the bottom was black, and he painted them royal blue. And I was like, yo, where'd you buy those from? Because I was a professional barber. I used to own a barbershop. And when I seen him do that, I was like, because one thing about Jordan is, you know, when you see one, it ain't coming out. Right. Like, if you see a Jordan that's red, white, blue, Jordan don't make red and white, blue shoes. So when he did it, so at the time, now they make every color, but at the time they didn't. So when I seen it, I was like, yo, and that's what got me hooked. So I had started painting the Jordans.
Did you go to school with Clue?
No, I went to school. I went to school with Drew Cartier. Clue was already done with college.
This man is much younger than Clue.
Yeah. Well, I'm 41.
I'm 41. Clue about the same age.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm 41.
Well, black don't crack except for Clues.
No, I don't. I'm a vegetarian, so it works out.
Cool like me.
How'd you get into designer sneakers? It's a tough game, you know. It's been the same 5 or 6 brands forever. Anybody who's tried to get into the game has never really been successful.
So I got into it because, like I was telling Charlamagne, when I was in college, I started painting the Jordans, and I never did it for money. My sister was in the Army, so every time somebody would ask me, and I'll be on Jamaica Avenue rocking the Jordans, like black and yellow 14s, never came out, and people would be like, yo, where'd you get those J's from? I was like, my sister's in the Army. She sent them from Germany. They get different colors than we get. So I started painting, right? So after 2 years, I'm lying, telling people, like, these came from Germany. I'm not telling them I'm painting them.
I might have bought a pair, too. Go ahead.
Yeah. So after 2 years, other dudes who could paint portraits on it, right? They paint pictures. I don't do that. You know, I'm not that great of an artist. So I was like, when they started catching up, I was like, I need to figure out another way to stay ahead of them. So I was like, if I add fabric to the Jordans, then that way I could do something they can't do, because I was always good at picking fabrics. At 6 years old, I was buying fabrics for my mom's. So I used to go to the garment district, buy the dopest fabric, and then I have a mentor in Jamaica, Queens named Augie at the shoe repair shop, and I was like, because my mom had a lot of shoes, so she would always take me there to get her heels fixed. So I was like, can you tell me how to put this fabric on shoes? And then he actually taught me how to take shoes apart and start reconstructing Jordans. So now I'm doing Jordans with python, stingray, ostrich, real luxury materials, and that's how I had got my name. But mind you, this is 99, 2000. There's no
social. Fab. Fab was wearing them back then. I
did Joe Budden's manager, I think Webb one of the dudes who's in a wheelchair. We did his whole wheelchair over in Gucci, like me and my mom's.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came to my mom's house. We took his whole wheelchair apart. We did his whole wheelchair. Gucci had a Gucci Louis Vuitton wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? So we were doing stuff like that way back then. I did some work with Little Kim, Foxy, and this is just the customizing part of the game, where I go to Canal Street, buy the fake Gucci trench coat, cut it up for the fabric, and then just refit and re-outfit stuff with it.
Nike has stolen a lot of your shoe designs, right?
Oh, they definitely stolen a lot.
Which ones have they stolen?
They stole the 11s that was burgundy. I did those. I called those the Merlot 11s. Recently, they stole reflective 6s. Like, literally, that's the one that they actually stole to a T. Like, I took the 6s, because 6s are my favorite Jordans. That's what got me hooked. But I took the whole black infrared 6s apart, redid them in silver reflective, and then I embroidered the Nike Air on the back, because back then, Jordans wouldn't put Nike Air on the back of their shoes. Like, and now all of a sudden, a couple months ago, they come out and they got the Nike Air on the back. They're reflective. They're exactly like the tongue is black. The whole shoe is silver. Like, everything that I did, they did it T for T.
Question. Okay, because I was trying to figure out when you say they steal the actual design, but the shoe
is theirs.
The shoe make
they just
model
stole
they make.
They just stole a custom.
Got you.
I've never like set and designed a Jordan, because you can't. And honestly, I don't
you can't go after them because
you can't, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, bro, I don't think Nike is stealing my stuff. There's a worker that's in Nike that's following my page, and he can present it to Nike. I don't think Phil Knight's like, let me see what D Nice is doing. They're looking at your joint, and then they'll be like, hey, I think we can make the 6s or reflective, though, the Nike Air on the back, because it's a worker. Like, I'm a little dude. I don't think Nike is just sitting there on my page plotting.
You never know. I mean, when Dapper Dan was here, think about it. He was just a guy in Harlem, and all the brands knew him.
Yeah. But that was after, like, the drama with the Mike Tyson fight. Right?
Yeah, but it still wasn't no social media or nothing back then. Like, you don't know.
That's true. You never know if it's a big company that's copying you, or it's an independent worker that's doing it.
And I feel like with Dapper Dan, there was like an uproar when that happened, and people were like, you got to give Dapper Dan his credit. You guys are copying him.
And that's amazing, because at the end of the day, like, Dapper Dan, like, he's one of my inspirations. When I was putting Gucci on Air Force Ones and doing all that stuff in '99, it's because of Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan used to be the guy who was putting the Gucci and the Louis on other and making it hood rich. You know?
Right.
So when he was doing that, I just think that for where he's at right now, I think if anybody should have been the first designer of our community to get put on by one of these brands, it should be Dap. Like, I wouldn't even want it to be me, because I feel like he's the guy who paved the way for me. So and for us, this is the first time that the OG is getting it first, and not the path he laid behind him.
But you said, I saw you on Instagram, you said that Dapper Dan doesn't know his full power.
He doesn't.
And influence on the culture.
At the same,
I thought that too when I was interviewing him, but
at the same time I said that because you was asking him questions, and bravo to you, because you was asking the questions that I wanted to hear the answers to, and he would dance around your questions like a politician. Like, I don't think he knows the power he has, because one, I think Dap, and this is no disrespect to Dap, I think he's just more in tune with like he's giving the power to the corporate brand of Gucci or Louis, because he was gone for 20 years. He was underground. But in that 20 years he was underground, what was he doing? He didn't make the Dapper Dan brand. He was just still doing the illegal copyright infringement.
I think with Dap, though, I think the one thing with Dapper Dan was he was doing it for so long and never was recognized.
Yeah.
So now that somebody finally recognizes him and he's finally getting paid, because I'm sure before he was taking L's and he was doing it really for the love. So now that he's finally getting paid, he feels happy. That's what makes him happy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were judging him like, oh, you shouldn't. But you can't tell that man who's been doing it for 40, 50 years, really not really getting no real big money. Now he's popping. Now he's being recognized. He just feels grateful.
And I don't know if anybody that from our community actually reached out to him and was like, I want to invest in this. I want to help you start your own brand, and let's figure out the business behind it.
Yeah, and he said that. He said that because rappers got him popping, and he said the rappers turned their back on him.
Right.
And that's another thing with being a designer in this black community. the crazy part about that really sucks for us is that the biggest threat to black-owned designers and black-owned businesses is black people.
Ooh, break that down.
So I'll break it down for you. So like for me, for instance, I get a lot of celebrities hit me up. Like just recently, I'm not even going to say the dude's name because I'm not going to disrespect him, but he said, yo, I F with your brand. I love what you're doing. Yo, black-owned, I got your back. Send me some merch. Like, so I hit him back because one thing about me is I don't care how famous you are. Like, yo, and I told him, this is what I told him back, no disrespect. I said, listen, black owned doesn't mean free. You know what I'm saying? So the problem with us is that, you know, like you was asking the question, you was like, but what if a black owned brand came out and he had the glasses and the quality was the same as what you have, right?
Yeah.
So like, and I brought these, and I know DJ Envy is a watch dude, so I want you to open that up. And my watches have the Rolex motor in it. So I want you to look at it because you're a watch dude and you'll understand. You'll see the quality, waterproof, 1,000 meters, all that.
You make watches too?
I make everything. Everything I have on from head to toe, it's all me. Like I design watches, underwears, everywhere, socks, shoes, everything. Because one thing about me is I never wanted anybody to tell me like, you can't do that.
What are those shoes right there?
These are the VV1s, the Valley Victoria Volume 1s. So here you go. You can hold that. And I brought a lot of stuff for you guys.
What are these based off? What's the model? I don't.
So this was my first shoe that I designed. This is actually the first one right here. And when I released these, people slept outside of my store. I had a dude come from Hong Kong.
These look like Yeezys.
Yeah. So that's the inspiration.
Okay.
So
the Louis Vuitton Yeezys, right?
It's both. It's the Yeezy one and the Louis Vuitton Dons. And the reason why I came up with that was because I had stopped collecting shoes. I own all the Jordans. I got a shoe room in my house. But they kept bringing the same stuff out, same stuff over and over. And I'm like, I'm not just keep paying you more money for you to give me less quality. Because we know back in the 90s, they used real leather. Now Nike, what they're doing is if you put 1% of real leather in your synthetic mix, you're allowed to call your shoes real leather. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people don't know that. So you're paying all this money for these shoes that you think is real leather and it's just a synthetic. So Kanye and when he came out with Nike, he had the Nike collab, and then 3 months later he had the Louis Vuitton collab. That's literally black history. Like he's a black rapper who has the #1 retail space Nike, and then the #1 couture space Louis Vuitton. He had a collab with both of them in the same year. So when those two shoes came out, it got me hyped. I was like, oh, I could buy these. So I lined up. I camped out for the first Yeezys in San Francisco.
I would love to see you hype. You sound hype right now.
I was way more hyped than that.
You're not hype now.
Yeah, so when I did that, I said, I'm gonna make my own shoe, but I'm gonna give the flowers to Kanye while he's alive.
Okay.
So I used the strap from the Yeezy ones, and I used the back part, and the tongue is from the Louis Vuitton Dons. So I was like, because especially listening to Big Brother, you know, he's like, people never get the flowers while they can still smell them. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to make sure that he knows, this is around the time he was super ranting too. And I felt like he was ranting because he wasn't getting the attention that he felt like he deserved for what he put in on the game. So I wanted to be like, yo, there's somebody you touched that actually has the talent to do, you know, like the question like why, how sway. Like I'm doing it without Nike, without Adidas. I'm doing it independently. One thing about me, and this is why I hate when people ask me for free stuff, is because I feel like a sucker asking for some free stuff. And you think about it, right? These rappers or these celebrities are asking a black designer for some free stuff, and they won't do it to Gucci because if they do it to Gucci, Gucci's gonna look at them like, oh, you broke. And we're more concerned about what the white people think about us than what we are concerned about what our own people think about us.
That's a fact.
So when we have our own that's actually really doing it, not cutting no corners, making real Italian leather shoes, like really doing it, and at the end of the day, I actually make my shoes. Like when I made this shoe, I made it myself. I sent it overseas and had them copy it. Like I'm one of the only designers that can sit in a room with all the fabrics in the world and come out with an outfit, come out with a shoe from scratch. Like a lot of these guys don't do that because I love it that much.
I go out of my way to buy from a black designer.
Right.
Or a black company. Like I want to spend my money with
I
them.
noticed that. I know.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because you definitely put on for us.
Right.
You know, a lot of these other people, you see value in black skin.
That's it.
But a lot of black people don't see value in their own skin. It's the same reason why we could piss in the elevator in the projects and be cool with it. But we'll go in this elevator right now and won't even think about pissing in it.
I'm a little different. See, I want to buy what's fly.
Yeah.
Just because you're a black designer don't make you dope.
Well,
exactly.
No, I didn't say that. I'm not saying him, but I'm just saying like I just don't. These are fly. I would pay for these. But a lot of people, if you put out shit, I'm not gonna support it.
No.
But these are dope, and these are things that I would support. But a lot of people just say, "Yeah, I want to support. Yeah, I'm a black designer."
No, that's
support me.
real.
But a lot of stuff is shit.
But that's why I specifically said that
That's why a lot
Dapper
of stuff is
Dan,
shit.
if you have something that's the same quality, same
Yes.
material,
Absolutely.
same
Perfect question.
everything, but it got a Gucci logo on it, you gravitate towards the Gucci instead of the black design.
But that's what it is. See, but like this, nobody would know what this is. It's just dope. I don't have to care if he's a black
Exactly.
designer or not. This
And the
is,
people
this
who-
is something I would buy.
And the people who brought that shoe, who came to my store, flew to my store, and spent the night outside my store to buy those, when they wear them, I get so many emails. They're like, yo, people see me with these, and they're like, yo, they're at Complex Con. They're at Sneaker Con, and they're like, yo, what are those? But it ain't the what are those? It's the like, yo, what are those? Those is fire.
Right. See, but the thing is most people don't know the difference. Like, most people buy sneakers because it's a fad or buy them
Right.
because they're
It's a hype piece
But then
trend.
when you look at something like this and you can tell that the leather is real leather, it's really soft, the laces are real in this. I can wear this when I ain't gonna play basketball in these, but
Yeah,
I can
no,
wear
no,
this when
no.
I want to get fly.
By the way, you got to have confidence to buy something that nobody else is buying.
But that's what makes you fly.
That's
And
what-
that's-
I think
Word.
that's a great thing to do.
Word.
You want to
Envy
do
hit
that.
it.
Pass me the white ones.
Yes, and Envy hit it on the nail because, like me, I grew up in New York, and you know how New York is. Your first day of school, we hype, we want to show off, and we don't want what everybody else has, right? So, like that shoe right now that Envy is holding, that's the first time ever that a clear sole and a white hard bottom has been used, and they both glow in the dark. Like that shoe glows in the dark, and that's never been done. Nike has not even done that, and I'm doing this as an independent brand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
See, the difficult part for myself is finding the type of stuff. And I know that you said you don't like to give stuff away, but sometimes that's how you find it. Like, for instance, right? I always look for the next type of thing.
I
Something
feel
that
you.
somebody doesn't have, right? And people always just say, well, it's expensive. Like, when I came in, I see you had that jacket. You designed that jacket?
yeah, it's 100%
Jacket is
Python.
hard.
And I made this jacket.
Pause. That jacket
and I
is
made
dope.
this
See,
jacket.
that's the type of stuff that I like because it's not something that you find in the store. It's
Right.
limited. It's dope. Like these sneakers, I would pick these sneakers up regardless. Well, first of all, what are the prices on them?
Okay, so the VV1s is with the Ballad Victorian Volume 1, those are $400. And the Sire runs is the
man,
other
these
ones
is
you got
great
next
prices,
to.
man.
Yeah, but see, I sell direct to consumer, and that's when I was saying that Dapper Dan doesn't know his power because he has the name. You know what I'm saying? He could sell, he could sell direct to consumer.
These are $1,700 in the store.
Yeah,
these would be $1,700.
The funny thing about those shoes is a dude on that really made them blow up. A dude on eBay who's like not eBay, YouTube, who's a sneaker he's a shoe tuber, and he had my VV1s, the tan ones, and he put them next to his Christian Louboutins. He said, "Yo, I paid $400 for these, and these are 3 times the quality of every shoe I got hanging up there." And he had all the real boxes. And from there, people started like, yo, when can I get those? How can I get them? They was already sold out. We sold out in one day. We had people sleep and with no press. I had no sneaker blogs hook me up. Nobody. Just off my Instagram page. And at the time, I had probably like 100,000 followers.
Can you make money with those prices?
I make great money because I'm direct to consumer. So the reason why I tell people like Envy just seen those, he said that's $1,700. If say Neiman Marcus or Barney's wanted me, they would still have to pay $400 for the shoe, and then they can up price it, whatever.
Right, which they do.
Yeah.
So
How much does it cost for you to make a shoe?
It just depends on the design. So, like, for instance, this is one thing people don't understand. You get the sole, right? So you got a sole mold, right? Which is called tooling. So, like, say this sole mold right here, the mold alone could be $10,000. That's $10,000 each size. And then you have an MOQ as far as the soles itself. So you'll have some people will be like, oh, you're charging, like, Envy knows quality. He said that shoe should be $1,700. At $400, he's not even sneezing at that price. But I get people to tell me, yo, your prices are too high. That's the most disrespect you could do. If you don't know how much it costs to get these shoes out there, don't tell me my price is too high, because you never say that about Gucci. They got shoes with damn rhinestones on it, look like Joanne's Arts and Crafts, but people gonna buy them for $2,000 because they got the name.
do you like to make them in limited amounts so that it makes the price like, okay, you can only get it for this period of time?
Honestly, I would love to make them in larger amounts, but you have to cater to your audience. You can't take L's, especially this early in the game. Like, I've just started designing sneakers 2016. What are we in, 2019? So 3 years I've been a sneaker designer. So it's going to get to that level where I can make more. So what I do for my customers is I allow them to pre-order shoes so they don't have to go through all the BS of like, man, they sold out. And I'll keep them up for like 3 weeks.
And that way you also know how many you can make.
Exactly.
You know
so
what
then that
sell.
way you're not sitting on product.
Now, what about if Jordan approached you after and said, look, we would love for you to come in as a designer and do some collaborations. Is that something that you would want to do?
Well, when I was in, because I did 11 years in the military, and then I got out and I went to the Fashion Institute in San Francisco. And the first 2 quarters I was there, they was like, what do you want to do when you graduate? I said, I'm working for Jordan. Because that's what got me hype. I was like, I want to work for Jordan. But then after the 3rd quarter of being in college, I started looking at the what they made. Like the lead designer. So that's the guy that's been there the longest. And I think at the time he was making like $300. And in that month when I looked, I had made $60,000 selling a soul dye. I invented a dye that could dye rubber and doesn't come off. And in that 1 month, I had like $60,000. I was like, man, if I could keep having months like this, I don't have to do the corporate BS, the infrastructure and all of that. And then I had Under Armour offer me a job as a designer. And I had 1 quarter left in college, and I told them, no, I said I still got a quarter left in college. And at the time, they are in Portland, and I live in San Francisco Bay Area. And I promised my daughters from being in the military that I wouldn't move anymore. You know, so I said no. I said the only way I would take this job is if you allow me to work from Oakland and not have to fly out here or work out here. Because one thing about me is that if I make a promise to my kids, I'm not going back on no promise I made them, especially after moving back and forth in the military. So they gave me a independent contractor position, and I had helped them out for a little bit of stuff. But you know, after that one project was done, I was just like, this is not for me, because I like to be free in designing, because I know what's dope. You know what I'm saying? I make dope things, and I know what's dope, and I don't need some older white dude to tell me, nah, that's not gonna work.
Are these prototypes or they real sneakers?
Which one?
The ones
the ones that match your shirt?
Yeah.
Those are the samples, but that's coming out.
I don't want to put them on and fuck them up.
No, you can put them on. But that's like a size 9, and I know you're like a size 10, right?
I'm a 10, yeah.
Yeah, I got some stuff for you. I got some stuff for all of you guys. I'm going to mail it here because I got some stuff in the suitcase, but I got some stuff to actually mail you guys.
I like those ones that he
Did
has
I hear
on.
you wrong?
You like those?
When you said it cost $10,000 to make?
The mold.
The mold.
Okay.
So like, you know, like say
So once you make the mold, you can make whatever you want.
but you have to make a mold in each size.
Got you.
So like some like you're 11 and a half, right?
Yeah.
So I don't do half sizes, and neither does like the European brands, because that's another 10,000 of a mold. So that's why most European brands is size, you know, 39, 40, 41, 42, whatever, or 8, 9, 10, 11, because if that's a whole nother double, and if you're doing, that's just if the mold is already there. You have to pay that. If you're trying to make a straight up original crazy, it could go up to 20,000.
And selling them at $400 a pop, you make money?
I make great money.
Yeah, you
Okay.
have to make enough of them so that it makes
I
sense
live in
to
the
make
Bay
the
Area.
mold.
You make $100,000 a year in the Bay Area, you're still you can qualify for low income housing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because the cost of living is so high out there.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like Williamsburg, Brooklyn right now in Oakland. Like it's like
I feel like it's more expensive in Oakland.
no, it
than-
is. It's definitely
than
more
Brooklyn.
expensive in Oakland than it is out here.
How can people see what you're doing and see how to buy it?
Oh, they can follow my Instagram at FBCC Bay Area, and my clothing brand is Saya Collective. So it's SIA_Collective, COLECTIVE.
What made you get into the Coast Guard?
So back when I was doing the shoes, I told my sister, she was in the Army, and she said, you know, she always wanted me, because I'm the youngest, and I was the only one to graduate high school. But she told me, she was like, look, I want you to go to the military. And I said, okay, I'll make a promise with you. If nothing I'm doing with fashion or what I'm trying to do makes me enough money to not, you know, worry about money, then I'll go to the military. So 25 years old, I came at 25. I had owned a barbershop. It was a little bit after 9/11. Like business was really slow. You know, we didn't have social media. Like I had did some work for Cormega. I did his videos. I did Jada Kids. I done a lot of shoes for people, but it wasn't making enough money where I'm saying I'm rich or. So I was playing in a basketball tournament, and this dude told me, he said, yo, he was my customer. I used to cut his hair. He said, I'm going to the Coast Guard. And I was like, the Coast Guard? I was like, I didn't ever heard of the Coast Guard. And then so I was like, oh, that's what's up. Good for you. And then I'm taking my nieces and nephews to the movies, and I see a bus and it has 1-800-GO Coast Guard on the side, the recruiting poster. And then I'm listening to the radio, and I hear, and I believe in signs. 3, right? Do you believe in signs?
Yep.
I believe in signs, so that was 3 signs. But this is the crazy part. I'm in boot camp. We're at week 7, and they're asking us, where do you want to get stationed, right? And they're asking you, what made you join the Coast Guard? I tell them the same story I just told you. He said, BS. He said, the Coast Guard don't even have enough money to do radio commercials. You definitely didn't hear us on the radio, but I heard them on the radio. That was my 3rd sign. And it's crazy. So when that happened, I said, the Coast Guard doesn't take lives, we save lives. Like we do immigrant interdiction. So like I've actually saved like over 500 immigrants trying to come to America. You know, their boat was sinking. You know, so that's why, like even on my shirt right now, it says, I'm more afraid of an American with a gun than an immigrant with a dream. Because in the Coast Guard, I've seen these people. I've been stationed in 3 different units. Like I was stationed in Mississippi where we went to Cuba, and we had Cubans on the boat. And I've been on the West Coast where we had people come from Guatemala, Mexico. And these people are really just here trying to find a better way for their family. You know, like the boat that we saved, it was 300 people on a little boat. And it's piss, feces, all this on the boat. And we saved their lives, and we didn't treat them like trash. Mm-hmm. You know, we still got to give them back to their country. But at the end of the day, we treated them like humans.
You understood. You had empathy for them.
If you don't have empathy, like, how, like, this is the thing that messes me up about a lot of this Christianity and stuff, because like you praise the Bible so much, but you got kids in cages right now.
And you think that's okay because you're like, oh, they're breaking the law. No. And it's really heartbreaking to see how people can be so cold-hearted and disgusting.
It's disgusting.
And not want to treat human beings like human beings.
I don't know what's going on right now. Like, I cry. I'm a father. When I see these stories, like, it makes me cry. Because I used to work in the service and we treated these people like people. Mm-hmm. And now you see it in the news and it's just like, this is crazy. Like, these people, when I worked on a boat in Mississippi, because I was in Pascagoula, Mississippi, mostly people that was on the boat was racist white dudes. Because when we had the Cubans on there, they would talk so much trash about the Cubans. We have to give them like water, because the captain, we had a black captain. He was like, make sure you keep giving them water. Make sure they get water. Make sure they get water. The water would be out because they all wanted water. It was like 160 of them. And I see the white boys on there with the machine guns like, nah, don't fill the water up. Wow. And me and the dude I was working with, Hernandez, we was like, nah, we giving them water. We even doing stuff we not supposed to do. Like the little kids, we're giving them like a little Kool-Aid on it to make it like a snow cone. But like they would treat them like trash. And that's the only time ever that I've been in the military that I was in danger, because we had an uprising where they got tired of it and they attacked the white boys on the boat.
Wow.
Yeah,
the immigrants did.
The immigrants did. They was tired of them. 2 of them jumped off the boat and tried to swim to Florida.
Wow.
And the other ones was on the boat, and this is the first time I seen that they're black. Like, we had dudes they was like this, yoked up, and they were like dark skin Cubans. And I've never seen this before, but they was like going to work and they never hit me. And mind you, it's 163 of them. It was only 60 of us on the whole boat.
Wow.
They never hit you because the way you treated them.
Because we treated them with respect. Yeah. But they was knocking the white boys out.
Wow.
They was laying them out. Because
the white boys, did they use the guns?
No, you can't shoot them. That's the thing. So the thing in the Coast Guard, like, you know how you see people come bring cocaine? I've had a trip where we've captured these people bringing cocaine, right? Let them free back to their country, and a month later, while we're still on the same patrol, we caught the same person. They never travel with guns, because if they have guns, then they got to stay in our jail. But if they don't have guns, we have to send them back to their country, and a lot of those people are kidnapped. Like, we had a guy, his wife and his daughter was kidnapped, and they made him come on that trip to try to bring the cocaine across the border, and they would let his wife and his daughter free.
Wow.
So a lot of these people, they're forced by cartels to do the stuff that they're doing, and you know, and we're treating them like dirt.
Right.
These people
don't
are
even
hostages.
know they're already in tragic circumstances.
Exactly.
And then they come here trying to make things better, and we do this and make it even worse.
Exactly.
Man,
what's your vision for your brand, man? No, your story is incredible. What's your vision for your brand?
Right. So for my brand, one thing I do with my brand is that the people in the community that put the money into my brand, I actually put it back into the community. Like, I teach the FBCC kids. My kids last Christmas, they got the design of Steph Curry 6. Mm-hmm. And we was his special guest at the thing. So now I'm doing the FBCC teams.
That's at courtside with the kids and all that.
We said courtside. Mm-hmm. LeBron, Curry and them came over. They was on ESPN. And then now I'm doing the teenagers, because I did the kids first, because I don't want the teenagers to be like, I can't make that. I can't sew my own clothes. But if you've seen an 8 to 13-year-old do it and you're 19, you have no excuse. Mm-hmm. So my whole thing is like, I honestly don't care how far I make it in fashion, as long as I'm able to keep giving back to the community and teaching the next people behind me. I got to bring them up. Right. Because I'm 41 years old. I may not be the guy who's going to be like, who changes the paradigm. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So, but maybe the kids I'm teaching, they may be the next Gucci, Louis. Right. You know what I'm saying? So for my brand, I just see my brand to continuous to be a real streetwear brand, because I feel like you should not call yourself a streetwear brand if you're not giving back to the streets. You know, we let all of these companies come in our community and make money off of us, and they do absolutely nothing for us. Like, everything that I make, I put at least 40% of it back into my community.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I put like 40% of it back to my community to teach these kids for free. Like, and this is the sad part about it. Like, I have a store, right? It's called Carpe Diem Fashion House in Oakland. But I'll have these kids every Sunday. I'll teach them how to sew, and I feed them. I don't want no money from the parents, because I don't want financial reasons to be the reason why your child is left behind. Right. So I do it all for myself. Mind you, probably 90% of those parents never came into the store and brought even a $20 t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? But your kid is coming here every day getting all of this stuff for free, getting this knowledge for free, and we're still, as a people, so conditioned that we're not even helping our own. That's helping us. I can understand if you don't want to buy this person's brand. Like you said, like, yo, what got you into sneaker design? Like, how many times somebody come up to you and give you a CD or a dumb job saying, yo, I'm a rapper?
All the time.
And you know, at this point in your life, you're like, yo, I don't even want to hear it because you won't even listen to it because you're like, yo, that's a waste of my time. You know? Imagine how many black-owned brands are saying, yo, I'm a black-owned brand. I'm a black-owned brand. And that's the thing some people do. They'll have a T-shirt. They'll print a T-shirt that anybody could print in the mall, and they're calling themselves a black-owned brand. You're making it
the truth,
right? But you're making that saying of black-owned brand to be cheap.
Right.
So that's why some people will be like, oh yeah, he's a black designer.
T-shirt designer.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If and this is ballpark. Don't want to get in your pockets, but there's a reason I'm asking. How much do you think you make a year doing what you do?
Me personally, I make 6 figures.
And see, the reason I say that is there's kids out there, and I like to show them different ideas than just their typical thing that they see. You know, a lot of kids coming from the hood, they see basketball, they see football, they see baseball, they see rapper, producer. Now they see DJ. There's so many different things, but I like to show them different things.
They give a fuck when you're making money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nobody wants to be you unless they know you're making some bread.
Right. No, exactly. No, that's a fact. Like I make, like just last month alone, I made over 6 figures in 1 month
That's great.
Just selling these, the sock runners.
A lot of kids are so damn creative, but like you said, they follow the money, and sometimes it's not about following money. It's following what you really love and your passion.
Yeah, follow your passion, follow your heart,
I respect that,
man.
and I appreciate that, man.
My final question for now, because I want to talk to you again, but do you think a black designer can build the type of brand that Gucci and Louis has without partnering with one of them?
Most definitely. We can do it. Think about all of this, right? Like, and this is to knock back, no disrespect to Dap, but this is something he said in an interview, and it struck me. He said, you asked him the question, he said all the black brands failed. Remember that? Mm-hmm. They didn't fail. Sean John was making $400 million a year. Tell me that's a failure. Sean John was making $400 million a year. To this day, FUBU has made $7 billion. Rockaway has definitely sold over $1 billion. Sean John has sold over $1 billion. How's that a failure? All of those brands, you know what happened? They sold. FUBU, they sold. Rockaway sold to Iconics fashion, the fashion group. But that's not a failure. So we can't like make up like fake stories when the facts is out there. All of these black-owned brands that we talk about, Carl Kanai, they've all made hundreds of millions of dollars. Right. And I don't know where at in life that's a failure, but this is the other thing. Sean John, Rockaway, all of these brands, they were basically what's right now merch. They were rappers' merch, right? And they make all these rappers now, they make money off their merch. That's why they do the CD bundles and whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what they were doing way back. They were ahead of a curve. But they were making hundreds of millions a year. I don't know where that's a failure at. But none of these guys were like me, like actually passionate about fashion.
Correct.
And wanted to be a high-end fashion brand.
FUBU was. They were into fashion, so was Carl Kanai.
Right. But what did FUBU start with? The T-shirts on Jamaica Ave with the FB on it, right?
Absolutely.
Right? That's what they started as. But that wasn't like a Gucci T-shirt. That was streetwear. You know what I'm saying? All of these brands, they did streetwear. FUBU never really, now Damon Johns does the suits, right? Mm-hmm. But they never came out right out the gate saying, yo, we're a luxury fashion house. We've never had actually a black designer come right out the gate and say, yo, I'm a luxury fashion house. Because
why is that though? Because that's always my question. Like you said, you named all these brands.
Right.
All these brands, I feel like when the time is hot and they selling like hotcakes. But then when it slows down a little bit, it shifts. I feel like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and some of these other, they never shift. They always have their core.
But guess why? How many songs have you heard in the last week that said Gucci this, Louis that, Fendi this?
All of them.
And tell me how crazy is that? Like Puffy, Jay-Z, right? They put us on to a lot of this stuff.
Correct.
And we're wearing the clothes because we hear it in their music.
Correct.
Because music is instinctive. It's in your ear all day. All of us here, we listen to music more than we read anything else we do. So you're hearing all of our black community leaders who actually have the financial means of making that. What are they talking about? All these rappers, if you think about it, they only rap about stuff they see in Neiman Marcus. Because before they made it, that was the store they couldn't afford to go to. So now that they have that money, they go to Neiman Marcus and everything that they see, oh, this brand, that brand, it's in their songs. They don't rap. How is Sean John and Rockaway played out right now? And those two people right there alone shift our whole culture.
You know why?
Because we don't rap about them.
Not even that. I don't even see them wearing it.
Yeah.
Nah, the paper plane stuff is fly.
I love it. I love the paper plane.
But Rockaway.
But that's paper planes. It's evolved.
It's
Rockaway's gone, but now it's the paper plane.
Rockaway got sold to Iconics brand, and they buried it.
Like I wear mad paper plane stuff.
I know. Yeah. And what they do is like they'll buy our brand from us, right? And then they slowly bury it because like
they slut it out.
Like they'll slut it out and they'll bury it because you don't have that competition anymore, right? So once that competition is gone, now you continue to do the BS and the boring stuff you was doing. The exciting stuff that made people want Rockaway or made Sean John, they bury that. You know what I'm saying? That's why when Jay-Z was like, you can run a checkup, but they'll never give you leverage. When they buy you, they took away the leverage. If you owe somebody money, if I owed you $100,000 right now, you're my master in a way. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can stunt on you. You're like, no, that dude owes me $100,000. You have my leverage. So that's what Prince was talking about when he's talking about independency. Once you have independency, nobody owns your leverage. And that's what Jay-Z was talking about on that What's Free song. He's like, yo.
So would you partner with someone?
If the partnership was right, I would. Because I think that what I'm doing is great enough to be on that larger platform. And I feel like as far as I can make it up the chain and the ladder, because I'm not normal. I'm not what these other people are. They just want to be free for themselves. They like, oh, I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna just blow up. Like, no, as high as I rise, I'm gonna continue to pull that ladder up. Like, yo, we got, like, for instance, Master P. I just had a conversation with Master P on Friday. He seen the shoe that Envy is holding. He seen that. He was like, I gotta call this dude. So I talked to him and Juggy on the phone. He was like, yo, I want you to help me make a dope basketball shoe that could be worn with jeans that the D-Boys would wear. Because I seen he was doing his thing with Alive shoes, and I was like, bro, that's not ownership. They only give you $30 each shoe you sell, but it's their design. You have no control of where your logo goes. And when I broke that down to him, I said, yo, I can put you in a position where every shoe you design, you get 100% of the profits. And he was like, I didn't ask him for no money. I don't want no money. And then a week later, he hits me like, yo, Master P was like, yo, I really appreciate that you did that. He said, our people don't do that. And I'm trying to break that cycle of where Jay-Z said was like, most of my N-words won't ever work together.
That's right.
You run a checkup, but they'll never give you leverage. Like, no, I want to help my people. He has a bigger platform than me. You know what I'm saying? He probably sold more shoes than me, but I'm sure he hasn't made more money than I made off my shoes because I get if that's $400, I get the money.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Out of all the companies that come to you and all that, it's one thing that you have that they don't have and that they are looking for in that style. Like these
I ain't gonna lie, you made me happy to hear Master P reached out to you because boy,
these
he be having some rough looking sneakers sometimes.
And the reason why
I was like, man, thank God.
Like I said, you have style.
Look,
like,
the funny thing, the funny
no
thing,
designer has that you have.
The funny thing about that is the reason why Master P even reached out to me because they stole my soul. Like the soul that's on that shoe. The company, and I wasn't mad at him because I know he doesn't design the shoes, but I had a competition, and this shoe right here was the winner of the competition, right? So this the colorway, but I had a competition. I said, look, and that's the way I reach out. I'm like, yo, I'll show a picture of my shoe. You Photoshop it to the color you wanted to come out in, and if we pick your shoe, not only am I gonna give you the shoe for free, but I'm gonna give you $500 and a gift bag of all the dope stuff that I make. You know, so I had a guy, he made this, but I had this suit, this sole and everything, and then the Munyatis had the same sole, right? So I was like, look, man, and then I looked up their company because I don't talk ish unless I do my research. So I did the research, and they got like it's a influencer program. So every shoe that they sell, you only get $30. So the shoe's $300, they get $270, you get $30. What kind of split is that?
Wow.
You feel me? And then you telling people that you're a black-owned brand. No, you're not, because you only get $30 off your shoe. And that's the other thing, like that I think you had asked earlier. I see a lot of black-owned brands now that not even black-owned brand. They're buying shoes from China, from like AliExpress, and the shoes already made. They look like Adidas.
Alibaba.
And they'll print their name on the strap or something. They'll be like, yo, these are the Marcus Garvey runners. I just seen that last week. Yo, bruh, yo, I swear to God, yo, I'm going to tag you in the post because somebody tagged me in it. It said the Marcus Garvey runners and the Nat Turners. Didn't. I swear to Jesus
and
Christ.
And the Nat Turners?
Yo, they had the Nat Turners and the Marcus Garvey runners, and they were literally shoes you can go on Alibaba and look at.
Stop, man.
No, and people was like, oh, I got to buy those Marcus Garveys. I'm like, yo, that's not. They're like, yo, this black-owned brand is making the Marcus Garvey runners. No, they're not. They just had the China, instead of printing whatever Boo-Boo the Fool on it, they printed, Nat Turner.
What's
Put
your
me on. I'm
relationship
giving them
with Steph
That's
Curry?
ridiculous.
My relationship with Steph Curry is I do a podcast called The World Around Shoes, and we talk about everything sneaker-related with his best friend. Mm-hmm. So he always wears my stuff. He always supports the brand. So Steph Curry had seen it, and what happened was when the Warriors had that 73-win season, Like, one thing, I only do Jordans, like, because that's the shoes I wore. So everybody was like, yo, you should do some Curries. You should do some Curries. I was like, man, I ain't doing no Curries. I said, but if they win 20 games in a row with no losses, I will do a pair of Steph Curry.
Let me see the Currys you did, because them Currys be looking rough too, man.
I did the Curry 2s.
Let me see.
Right? So what happened was they actually won 23-0. So they was like, as soon as they hit 20, and I'm in the Bay Area. One thing about the Bay Area, they are definitely riding for Steph. So as soon as that joint hit 20, I had like 100 messages on my joint. They was like, yo, we want to see them Curry customs. We want to see them. So I did the Curry 2s. I did them with Cork, right? And the dope thing about that was
Where can I see those at?
Put Steph Curry 2, Under Armour Curry 2.
All right.
So I did that. And I made him look fly. Like, and then I had my boy Dre Wright from Under Armour reach out to me. He was like, and at this time I wasn't doing customs because I was in college. I was like, I don't want to do nothing that's going to interfere with my schoolwork. I graduated with honors. You know, I wanted to take that serious. So I did the shoes, and everybody was like, yo, I don't wear Currys, but I will wear those. Like, even with my shoes, like, people be like, yo, I don't wear sock shoes, but I'm going to buy yours. Or they be like, I don't, and that shoe right there that you like, the one right there, Envy?
This one, these ones.
The VV ones. And the other ones, though, the Sire runs, that came from our podcast. My dude was like, yo, we used to rag on dad's shoes because, you know, that's the trend right now. So I was like,
and all that.
yeah. So he was like, yo, and we would rag on him. He's like, but I bet you if anybody could do a dope dad shoe, it would be you.
Yeah,
so that came from a challenge.
Right.
You know, that came from a challenge.
I like those.
So I was like, so I did those. But when I did the Currys, mad people was like, yo, you made the Currys look dope. So I had my boy Dre reach out to me. And he was like, he sent me an email. He was like, yo, I work at Under Armour. You know, I want you to make some stuff for me. And I was about to delete it. And right before I pressed delete, I seen it said Dre Wright at Under Armour. I was like, oh. I said, oh, he really worked for Under Armour. And I'm like, you know, if you're coming up as a designer, that's, even though it's Under Armour at the time, you're still like, yo, let me see what they talking about. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yo, I'm not no little boy on the totem pole. I'm at the top. So I was like, cool. He's like, I'm in London right now. We doing Wonder Woman, whatever. The next day, I had a UPS truck come to my house. 40 boxes of just Under Armour gear, underwear, shoes, whatever.
So
he
you do
was
with all those sneakers?
I still have them, most of them.
I can't find the Steph Curry 2 joints you designed. It's not these, are they? The blue and yellow ones?
No, the ones I designed, I customized them, so they was made out of cork. Then I did Cam Newton for Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So Cam Newton hit up Dre. He was like, yo, that new guy you talking about, D, yo, I want him to do my shoes for the Super Bowl. And that was the year the Panthers. It was the 50th anniversary of the Black Panthers, and it was in the Bay Area. So I did the Curry 2, and I did the tongue where I made it zip up, and when you open the zipper, it had the Superman joint.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton had them on at the press conference. They went viral, right? Nobody tagged me in it though. They was like, yo, what is those shoes Cam Newton got on? Because I made them look fly. No disrespect. So, you know, they're rocking them. He's rocking them, and all these people, and then all of a sudden, people from my page was going to the Panthers page, and they was like, yo, give FBCC his props. Mm-hmm. So they started tagging me in the joint. Then Dan Ravel from ESPN, he reached out to me. He called me. I did an interview with him, and then he was like, yo, do you want to work for Nike? Because I guess he's plugged in there. He's like, yo, I can get you in the program and all of this. And at this time, I'm like, yo, I want to try to do this 1,000% independent because, like you said, I don't want to give up my leverage. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't want to give up. I know, and then one thing, like just visiting these campuses, like even Nike or Under Armour, they're not in tune with our culture.
At all.
Like at the end of the day, like I get to really speak to my culture, right? I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from New York, and I get to do that. And we know what's fly. We know we like our laces loose. We like them to hang. Yep. We like the character of our shoes. I'm still that dude that remember when Jordans came out on a Wednesday, and we could wait and be like, yo, next month I'm going to be 100.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm really a part of that culture. Like, I'm one of the first people from our culture to actually really get to do this full time and show these kids, like, yo, we could do this. We could really do this, bro.
Tell them how to find you, man.
Appreciate you.
And you made these bags, too, by the way. I was like, these are really
Can I
nice.
show the bag?
Yes.
And
get it off. Get off. Get your promo off.
Right, look, I got the kid shoes.
Oh, those are so cute. Those are
fly. Word, thank you.
Those
are
are
fly.
so cute.
Yeah, so I got the kid sock on it, and these are 3M reflective.
That's dope.
And I know you got like 24 kids, right?
Yeah, I got five. These
Yeah,
dope.
and I'm with you with
That bag is hard too, though.
So this is the bag, right? This is called the Traveler, and the one thing I did with this, like you can fit up. This is made for a laptop. So you got the laptop compartment, and then inside you can hold another laptop. So I have a lot of DJs. I made this bag for like influencers, and you got the camera pockets. So the DSLR camera goes in there. You can see that, and I got the duffel bag. And that's real Italian leather.
Yeah, I can smell it.
Yeah, not no cheap stuff. So you got this. This is a duffel bag to travel, and I just traveled to JFK with this, and it held up like
dope.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got the leather name tag and everything.
It's beautiful.
So these come out next month, but like all of this, I do this all by myself.
It's only a matter of time for you, my brother.
So, absolutely.
Only a matter of
time.
So
your information again, man.
All right, so my Instagram page is at FBCC Bay Area, and the clothing line is Saya Collective. So that's SIA_COLLECTIVE, Saya Collective. You can follow any one of those pages, and I keep the drops coming.
All right, well, it's Devlin Carter. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.